What's going on, everyone? My name is SiahZ, and welcome back to our updated Lightning Arrow Bow Amazon Huntress build. We have made insane upgrades to the build, now doing over 200 million plus DPS, killing 5-man pinnacle bosses under a second, and we have upgraded our clear immensely, now being able to do screen-wide clear thanks to the new unique quiver brought into the game. Overall, this is the most enjoyable build I have played this league thus far, so I'm going to be covering all the changes and all that throughout the video. Before we get into it, if you guys are enjoying these types of videos and you're liking what I'm doing here on the channel, do consider hitting a like on the video and a subscribe to the YouTube channel. That does help me out immensely, and it also helps the YouTube algorithm, and in turn, that currently is the best way to support me. I should also be live right now streaming on YouTube and Twitch. The link for that will be in the description as well as the comment section of the video. All right, let's get right into it. The first thing we can get into here is the gear. So for the bow, you want to try to look for either a Gemini base bow, because this will give you an additional arrow, or you can look for the additional arrow brought on through the modifiers rolled onto the bow. Either one works here. So what we mainly want to try to shoot for on the bow is high accuracy rating and high critical damage bonus on it. This is going to give us the most damage overall, since accuracy stacking will actually give us physical damage through the Amazon Ascendancy. From there, if you can look for like high physical damage rolled, crit chance, anything like that, leveled projectile skills, all that is really good to roll onto the bow and should give you a lot more damage. We are throwing crit damage runes on here. They do give a lot more damage than accuracy runes, but obviously they're way more expensive. So if you're on a budget and you can't afford the crit damage soul cores, then just go ahead and throw the accuracy runes on the bow. It'll still be really good until you can throw the crit damage ones on. For the quiver, this is where the change is going in. So we are running the new primed gambit unique quiver that was brought in with the new update. Now we are using this for clearing. This quiver is actually pretty insane for clearing. It enables, full screen, off screen wide clears. So it's really good there. For boss and DPS, it's not that insane, but you can actually use this for all around. So if we're going to be just using this and we're not swapping to any other quiver, we get about 130 to 140 million DPS. So it's way more than enough to do, 2-3 man carries without any issues, solos, etc. But if you really do want to try to push into that high 200 million plus DPS, you do actually want to try to roll with a rare quiver, going for, like lightning or physical damage on there, mainly crit chance and crit damage, which you're looking for. After that, like increased damage with bows or projectile levels on the rare quiver will give you more damage. So what does this quiver actually do? So the quiver basically has an RNG chance of every time you're firing, you're shooting your skills, your lightning arrow, you'll shoot one of the new arrows, either crescendo, splinter, reversing, diamond, etc. So each of the arrows have different effects. So blunt arrow will actually give 600% increased stun build up. Diamond will get guaranteed crits with 60% increased crit damage, which is really good for clearing and damage in single target. Reversing basically is you'll pierce all targets and the projectiles will come back to you. Splinter is the arrows will splinter towards 6 targets, so it's really good for clearing. And crescendo as well is it'll add 6 chains onto your arrow, and each time they chain, you'll do 60% increased damage. And the last arrow we can fire is Covetous. This is where the quiver gets pretty insane in my opinion. So if we kill any enemies with the Covetous arrows, they will drop with 600% increased rarity, which is insane considering that we can basically run this, don't really have to worry about rarity on gear, and we still have a really good amount of increased rarity, going through maps and zooming through it, that we can actually get a lot more drops. And on average, when I was testing this out, I did notice a significant increase in divine drops when running this quiver. So 100% is a good boost there if you're running 0 rarity like I am. So like I said, the reason why this quiver is so insane is 1, enables off-screen clearing through the crescendo and splinter arrows. Obviously the Covetous arrows is insane for rarity drop, and you do not need to have a rare quiver at all while mapping with the setup, since we have so much damage. And the only time you really need to go to a rare quiver, like I said, is if you're doing 5-man boss carries and you want to reach over that 200 million DPS. From there, we're still running the deepest tower helmet, the best in slot hit based, basically makes any enemies within our presence of that green circle count as being on low life. And there's a lot of stuff on the tree that we can take for more damage, lucky hits, etc. on enemies with low life. So it's really good there, and it adds a lot of DPS. For the chest piece, we are still running hybrid. I've tried full energy shield, I've tried full evasion, I've tried hybrid. The best survivability that we can actually get on the build, what the current setup and uniques we're running is going through hybrid, evasion, energy shield. So on the body armor, you do want to run that, and you want to look for high rolls on both of those, with obviously resistant rolls to get res capped. If you need try Ellie res like I do on the body armor, go ahead and roll that. As far as the boots we're running, again, we're running full evasion boots, looking for try Ellie res and move speed. You can either do full evasion or you could try to do hybrid, but in my case, evasion was cheaper and better in every stat, so that's why I ran evasion here. For the gloves, we are running the Sanguis gloves. This is unique. The reason why we're running this is we are running leech on the build, which enables us to have a lot more survivability, and this basically just makes our life leech convert to energy shield, so we have 100% uptime of the energy shield on the build while going through. It enables a way better survivability than not actually running this unique gloves here. So again, look for those high lightning damage rolls on them, and if you can get them corrupted with damage penetrates lightning resist, that will give us more damage overall as well to the build. As far as the accessories, we are running ingenuity, looking for if you can get her like corrupted with resistances to help get us res cap. That's really good. But the reason why we run this basically just for the increased bonuses gained from our rings. This enables us to get more attributes, more damage, more resistances, etc. out of it. As far as the rings, we are running a breach ring here, going for high lightning damage, and if we can increase lightning damage, that's going to be the two best stats onto it. After that, if you can get like physical damage, cold damage, you know, anything else that'll give us more damage on top of that, that is also really good to shoot for. We do need to roll dexterity and intelligence on one ring, so this way we can get to the attribute thresholds needed to run everything in the build. And then obviously we do need to try to get life leech on at least one of the rings, so either the breach or unset, something like that. Just try to get it on so we can actually enable the leech for the build. For the unset ring though, again, we want to look for lightning damage, increased lightning damage. Anything else, same thing as the breach ring. And we do want to try to get a mana per enemy killed on one of the rings, so this way we can solve the mana issues completely with the build. For the amulet, we are running a jade. This just allows us to get more dex to meet those thresholds, but anything else would work here. Just make sure that you actually can get enough dexterity to hit that 212 mark, you know, and that one like 09 and etc. to run everything. From there, obviously, we want to try to roll Spirit on the build and plus level projectile skills, as this will give us a lot more damage. Again, if you want to roll attributes, anything else onto the amulet is really nice as well. And for defensive layers, if you can get increased evasion and maximum energy shield, you will get a lot more survivability out of your amulet. As far as the anoint, we are running Storm Charge just because this gives us more elemental damage if we crit recently, which we always are critting, so it just free more damage. And then the increased crit chance is really nice as well. For the back bar, we are still running a wand, just looking for the crit chance, increased chance to shock, and if you can, roll any damage on there just to make the ball lightning do more damage to apply shock easier. But the main reason we're running for the back bar is the effigy of cruelty. This basically allows the critical hits with spells to apply critical weakness, which gives us a lot more crit chance, basically doubling what we're doing on the build, enabling us to do a lot more damage. So that's why we want to have that on the back bar. So for our gems, we're running lightning arrow. This is our main clear. You want to have this highest level with quality. We're throwing a martial tempo in for more attack speed on it. We have overextend to get way more critical damage bonus. Then we're running pinpoint critical to get way more critical chance on it. Since we don't have any crit chance on the bow, we need this to get the crit chance up higher. If you do have crit chance naturally on your bow, you can replace pinpoint critical with something else. Then we are running a lightning infusion to get even more lightning damage on the skill. And then finally primal ardament for even more weapon elemental damage. Then for lightning rod, you want to go highest level with quality with concentrated effect, have more area damage on it. We're going to be throwing overextend back on lightning rods when bossing. Then we'll throw deliberation on our lightning arrow while we're bossing as well. Then we're going to have close combat on lightning rods. So this way we have way more attack damage within that 1 meter range. And we're always going to be basically within that 1 meter, since we want to play it as basically like in a melee skill, since we need to be within 2 meters to basically count the enemies on the life with deepest tower. So we need to do that. Then we are going to be running elemental focus for more elemental damage on this skill. And then finally execute for 50% more damage with hits against enemies that are on the life. Since we count them on the life with deepest tower, that's just free 50% more damage there. Then we get into barrage. You want to have quality on this. We're going premeditation to have more damage basically with skills empowered by it. It just really helps us to go in barrage twice with our rods, you know, set up. It's 15% more damage on the explosions. Then we can barrage as well into the tornado with our lightning arrow. That's going to be a nice real big burst there, so that's the reason why we do that. From there, we're running ingenuity for more cooldown recovery on it. Second wind, so we can get another use of the skill. Arcane tempo to have more cast speed, and then murderous intent, so this way we can have calling strike on it. Then we're going to do a change here. We're now running Herald of Ash. This is going to allow us to get so much more clearing capabilities, enabling us to off-screen, etc. And obviously the really good thing about Herald of Ash is we don't really need to play into a lot of cold damage like Herald of Ice, so that's why we run Herald of Ash in this instant. So the way Herald of Ash works basically is any enemies that we significantly overkill will trigger this basically AoE fire explosion that will do like ignite, and it'll do percentage of the overkill damage. So since we're basically killing enemies and we are doing a lot of overkill damage, we can basically infinitely proc Herald of Ash. Not so you guys can see that off-screen clearing capabilities. So from there, we want to run a magnified effect on it, have the more area of effect. So it's affliction to have more damage on that ignite, fire mastery for another level, and then finally precision, since we have the spirit to get even more accuracy, which means more crit chance and DPS of the build. Then we're going connectivity, again, highest level with quality up to whatever int that you can actually level this skill up to. Then we're going Cursed Ground to turn it into an AoE persisting skill. Then we go Heightened Curse to have more magnitude of it, so it'll lower the lightning resistances even further. Then finally Ritualistic Curse to have more area effect of the skill. Then we're going to Voltaic Mark. Level does nothing for this, so we just want to have this lowest level, so this is why it doesn't really cost a lot of mana. Then just throw quality onto it and you're good to go there. This just allows us to get a lot more magnitude of shock on the enemy, reaching up to that basically 100% shock magnitude effectiveness. Then we get into Tornado Shot. This is going to be the skill that we throw down to generate rage and stuff like that, while running Overabundance on it, so this way we can have more limit to it, so we can shoot 2 tornadoes instead of 1. Then we go Persistence as well for more effect duration of it. Font of Rage, so we can actually generate rage near the tornado, and Font of Mana as well to have more mana regen. We get into Wind Dancer. This is really good. Basically makes us to have a lot more survivability. We're going to get 10% more evasion rating per stage, and we can have 3 stages, so that's 30% more evasion rating. So it's really huge there. We're going to be running Unbreakable on it, so this way we'll have more stun threshold. Then we go Energy Barriers, so this way when we basically get hit and stunned, etc. with the skill, it'll trigger the energy shield to start regenerating instantly, which is kind of nice for some more survivability. Then we get Charm Bounty, basically so we can generate more charm charges whenever we actually kill enemies with Wind Dancer. Then finally Arm's Length for more knockback distance. We go into Ball Lightning now. This is going to be our main applicator of shock and how we're actually able to reach 100% shock effectiveness, etc. So we're going to be running that, and you want to set this on weapon set 2 so we can trigger it with our wand and our shield to get all that good critical stack of weakness and all that stacking as well. From there, we're running Conduction for more chance to shock on the skill. Overcharge, so we have more magnitude of shock on it, so we can reach 100% effectiveness. Lightning Exposure, so we can inflict it to lower their lightning resistances even further. Strip Away, so this way we'll have an increased effect of our exposure. Then finally we go Unleash, so we can cast 2 of them instead of 1. It just has more consistency in shocking the boss quicker, so that's why we run it there. Finally, we get into our last thing, which is our Herald of Thunder. Again, highest level with quality. We're going to go Lightning Pen, have more penetration on the skill. Long Shot, because we're going to be obviously chaining off screen, so it's even more attack damage with the skill. Then we go Enervate to have more lightning damage once we kill a shocked enemy. Deadly Herald, since we have the Spirit, that's 30% more damage with the skill, so might as well throw it on there. There's no reason not to. Then finally Lightning Mastery for another level into Herald of Thunder. Then we can get into the tree. So for our Ascendancy, we're going to go Critical Strike. This just allows 25% of our excess chance to hit with attacks to be added as critical hit chance, so it's really good there. We're going to go Penetrate. This is how 25% of the accuracy rating on the weapon will be converted to physical damage, so it's really good there for DPS. Then we're going to Predatory Instinct for 50% more damage against enemies with open weaknesses. It really just allows the build to have a lot more burst DPS. Then we go to Mystic Harvest. This is basically going to allow our elemental damage to count as well as physical damage for life leeching, so we can get a lot more leech back, and this is how we basically fully sustain our energy shield. From there, we're going to go Primal Instincts for that attack speed, going down an Eagle Eye for the increased accuracy. And then we come down here and we're going to go into basically Stars Align and Finishing Blows. This is basically going to be a lot more increased damage against enemies on low life. And then Stars Align is just lucky hits against enemies on low life, so it's huge DPS right there. Finally, we're going to come back up and go into Master Fletching with weapon set 1 points for the increased bonuses gained from our quiver. Then we'll go Precision Salvo again, so this way we get more accuracy rating and attack speed and stuff like that with weapon set 1 points. Coming down, we'll be going on the right side here, so we can take the crit chance going into Cooked for the increased crit damage. It's really huge there. 2 points will go into Escape Velocity for the increased evasion rating, and movement speed's pretty nice. I'll get into the jewels, by the way, once we get done with the tree. Then we'll go Catalyst for the increased elemental damage with attacks that it gives. With weapon set 1, we'll go Stand and Deliver. Since we're always within that 2 meter range, that's just even more crit damage and projectile damage, so there's no reason not to take that there. Then we're going to come down, and with weapon set 2 points, we'll go all into Frazzled and Rattled. This is a lot more shock effectiveness and magnitude and all that. We're going to be coming down with weapon set 1 and taking Acceleration for the skill speed. And we'll be taking Falcon Dive again, so this way we can get that increased attack speed per accuracy rating. Since we have a lot of accuracy, it's a lot of attack speed with the build. Then we'll be taking this Jewel Socket down here. We'll come back up and we'll go into Coming Calamity for the increased lightning damage that it gives while affected by the Herald of Thunder. It's a lot more DPS. Then we'll come up and take all basically this cluster. So Heartbreaking obviously is increased crit damage and strength. Heart Stopping is increased crit chance and intelligence, and then finally 1% more crit chance added to the base is huge, and obviously this is really good for DPS. Then we're going to go into Enhanced Reflexes for the increased evasion rating and percent increased dex, just a lot of survivability there. We'll be taking all basically of Throat Seeker. The increased crit damage that it gives is just really nice for DPS. Then we're going to go up and go down into Exposed to Storm. So the Lightning Pen that this offers does give us a lot of DPS, plus the increased crit chance also with enemies that are affected by lightning exposure. Since we always have that on bosses, that's just even more crit chance. So more DPS there added to the build. Then we're going to go up and go into Spectral Ward. This is going to basically allow us to get a lot of energy shield off of our body armor if it has evasion. And obviously since we're running hybrid, we do have evasion there. So it's a lot more energy shield overall. Then we're going to come into True Strike for that increased crit chance and dex, for the Jugular for the increased crit damage bonus and intelligence, and Deadly Force. These points going into it is like 70% increased damage if we've crit recently, which we always are, plus the increased crit chance on Deadly Force is pretty nice as well. Then we're just basically going to throw the final points and just like more crit damage bonus and stuff like that. With weapon set 2 points, we will come down and take all of like General Electric, Harmonic Generator, Unbound Forces, etc. down here, since this is a lot more magnitude of shock. For the jewels we're running on the build, we are running still a controlled Metamorphosis here, Massive Ring. This just allows us to get stuff like Moment of Truth for that crit chance increase, going down into Staggering Palm for the increased critical damage bonus, and then a Wild Storm for 15% more maximum lightning damage, which is huge considering we're lucky hitting. So the more maximum value we have, the more DPS boost basically lucky hits gives us. So it's really good there and synergize as well. We are running an Against the Darkness Time Lost Diamond, just looking for % damage as extra lightning. If you can get another extra damage on here, it'd be huge. Chaos resistant, lightning resist, anything like that that you need is really good, but mainly we're looking for that extra lightning damage that it gives. We are running just a rare Time Lost Diamond here, a radius 1, trying to upgrade that radius to medium. Mainly we want to look for notable passives will give increased crit chance for attacks. Anything else will on there like increased damage with hits against very unique enemies, projectile damage, elemental damage, increased damage with the bows, attack speed, anything like that you can get on top of that is going to give us a lot more DPS. Obviously throwing it in here, we have so many passives and like big notables that it can be affected, so it just gives a lot of DPS boost. The last jewel that we're running here is a From Nothing, and we want to get Unwavering Stance on it. This is just going to allow us to basically put any points into anything over here in this blue circle. And obviously these 3 points over here is like 170 or 180% increased damage against enemies on low life. So it's a huge DPS boost, and there's just no reason not to run it From Nothing. That basically covers everything for the build. Like I said, we're doing over 200 million damage. The clear is absolutely insane now with Herald of Ash and with the new unique quiver. Overall, this is the most fun I've had this league with the build. It just checks all the boxes. It's really fun to play. It does amazing boss DPS and has good survivability. And overall, I do think you guys are really going to enjoy the changes and really love the build in this current state. If you guys did enjoy this video, or you like what I'm doing on here on the channel, if you consider hitting a like on the video and a subscribe to the YouTube channel, it does help me out immensely, and it also helps the YouTube algorithm, and currently that is the best way to support me. I should also be live streaming right now on YouTube and Twitch. The link for that will be in the description, as well as the comment section of the video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.